What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Nikolai Espresso, and welcome back to another Black Ops 3 video here today on the channel. In this one, we're going to be talking about something that a lot of people may really want to hear about, some people may be very skeptical of, but that being DLC 5 in Black Ops 3. Now, recently there's been a massive craze and a massive buzz around the topic of DLC 5 in Black Ops 3, and for good reason. We've had ample amounts of hints and teasers here and there that just do not add up to anything, and the go-to is, of course, obviously DLC 5, but besides making it a scapegoat for answers, it does make quite a bit of sense, if I'm honest. And I'd say that as somebody that loves to look at things and speculate about it, but also loves to break down the realism of things, DLC 5 might actually be happening. Now, in this one, I want to talk to you guys about everything that's on the table, leaks, supposed leaks, game files, inferences, and other teasers that we can take a look at and maybe point the finger as to what they in fact mean. Now, of course, take this all with a grain of salt. None of it in any way, shape, or form is confirmed, but rather I'm laying out what's on the table, what some things that have yet to be answered lay out and present even more questions, and we're just gonna take a look at it from a broad perspective overall in this video. So strap on your tinfoil hats potentially, get ready to bring out that fine comb that we can go through everything with, and get ready because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So the most recent leak, if you wanna put the air quotes around that one, deals with a friend of mine, The Gaming Revolution. He put out a video talking about DLC 5 in which he said that he has some inside information from a third-party source that works with Treyarch and basically confirmed to him that there would be a DLC 5. Now, while this does sound nice and dandy and everything, it's something that we have to take it for what it is. There's no proof presented behind it, and I don't mean any offense to him because I love the kid, he's a good dude. But for what it's worth, the face value statement of that perhaps is not enough to warrant some major excitement, some major hype behind it. While some things to me personally, having met with the developers, having chatted with them on a couple of occasions whenever I was out in LA, some things don't add up to what I know, but overall the just general idea and presence, there's so much more of a DLC 5 concept and possibility than just a face value statement of it's coming and we're getting these maps included. But with mentioning the most recent catalyst for discussion of Black Ops 3 DLC 5, let's talk about things that we know for a fact. Some things that really heavily hardcore point to some things that just kind of make you scratch your head and wonder what exactly this was for, what the purpose was. So let's start all the way back in December, right before Christmas. Treyarch did a live stream discussing their upcoming plans for Black Ops 3 in 2017, to which they basically at the time said, hey, thanks for all the support in 2016. It was an absolutely fantastic year, and oh, we're glad to tell you we've got more stuff coming in Black Ops 3 in 2017. At the time, we didn't have any idea as to what this would be. A lot of people just inferred it would be weapons and DLC like that, but while that is something that still holds true to this day, we've had weapon drops since then, there also seems to be a lot more that could be on the horizon. The day after this live stream happened, something called Newton's Cookbook was implemented into Black Ops 3, and as a result, players could use their unwanted gobblegums and trade them in, or rather craft more rare gobblegums out of it. Some of them were great, some of them not so much, whereas like you could get a Perkaholic, or sometimes you just get some really common gobblegum out of it. So it's really all based on time, the luck of the draw, and being around for the right gobblegum switches. So that was one thing that happened immediately thereafter. It was announced on this stream, but whenever he was asked about it, Jason Blundell said to the question, is there anything else that you can say about content for zombies in the upcoming year? To which he said, I prepared a statement, and then that statement said, I'm afraid I can't say anything right now. And the big key emphasis was on right now. That's something that we really need to take into consideration because while it might not seem like a lot to most people, we have to remember that Treyarch does absolutely everything for a reason. And this comes from the guy that gave us a Morse code cipher in a trailer by blinking. So if that's not enough to present to you the fact that Jason Blundell and Treyarch are the most cryptic of people and say every single word meticulously and with major purpose, I don't know what will. So from my understanding, my inference of this, it totally feels like there's something else coming to zombies within 2017, and while it's not named at the moment, something like DLC weapons and maybe something like a crafting item here and there in zombies or multiplayer just does not seem like enough to fill up what is entirely needed for 2017 and content in Black Ops 3. Additionally, just for some furthermore explanation on just how long we're going to be getting support from Black Ops 3 in 2017, 2017, we can fast forward to the Activision's earning call that happened a couple of weeks ago, in which Activision stated that yes, we were going to get boots on the ground for Call of Duty 2017, but also that 2017 has 3 active titles: Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, and of course, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. So with these 2 games being in their prime, that being Modern Warfare Remastered and Infinite Warfare, it also is very interesting that in consideration with the active years is Black Ops 3. So it's not something where DLC is going to cut off after, say, March or April, like we see, say, with Advanced Warfare, what happened into Black Ops 3. Rather, this is going to go on all year, so there has to be something bigger, something that is planned for the rest of this time. Now, with that stable stuff out of the way, let's talk about some leaks. Let's talk about some game code, some things that you might not notice, and that may point to, once again, more unanswered questions. Recently, we touched on some game code that was added in with a recent update to Black Ops 3, and what was really interesting about this was the fact that there were assets for Origins as well as Ascension added into the Zombies game code. Now, let's start firstly by addressing the one that you might be able to debug, one that I want to bring your attention to, but also counteract any argument with it. With Origins being added into Black Ops 3, that's something that you can definitely attribute to, say, Revelations, because there is a whole portion of the map that is from Revelations, the excavation site. However, some of the assets and some of the different schematics that were completely remade, let's keep our mind on that, they were not just ports upwards from the 360 version or anything like that, they were completely redone. These were schematics and different assets to a completely different part of the map than that of what Origins was in the Revelation showcase. So to me, that just completely throws out the idea that this portion of Origins in Revelations was being updated. These were for something completely different. Additionally, Ascension isn't in the game at all. And the weird part is that there were files for months now being added in over time, progressively updating and updating more with Ascension game files. And once again, what is the purpose of that when there is absolutely no piece of Ascension in Black Ops 3? That in itself just does not make any sense to me, and then we can move on further into some Steam updates even. Back on January 13th, there was an update to Black Ops 3 on the PC version that was in no accordance with any data file dumps from developers for mod tools or anything like that. There was no content going out. It was simply a mysterious and completely unexplained update to Black Ops 3. And what was listed on the Steam database website was an ID number of 581450 and the title listing, Steam database unknown app with the ID number listed. There was no information given about it, nothing that entails what it would be, whereas previous updates have titles that include what they are, such as the Code Valor calling cards, 1000 Call of Duty points, and so on and so forth. Everything is labeled as such and what they showcase as in-game, but this one was listed as an unknown application. And what's even more interesting, I think, with this is that this happens every time that there's a DLC that's made available, or somewhat prior to when this is made available. So say whenever DLC 4 came out and Revelations was going to come out with the rest of the map pack, this was then listed as such a couple of weeks to maybe months beforehand whenever it was first being added into Black Ops 3, the game files, and then hidden subsequently once again, which this also has been, and later on it was made public once again and completely rechanged in the title to be what the DLC labeling was. So it's rather interesting that we have something that follows the exact same procedures as a full DLC whenever we don't have anything technically scheduled right now. Now, the final thing that I want to bring to your attention is what I think is perhaps the most compelling for Zombies lore, not necessarily actual pointing fingers towards, hey, you know what? DLC 5 might actually culminate in all this kind of stuff. There's not so much physical aspects and technical aspects that come into that idea, but more so the ideology and the theory behind some things that we have not had explained for quite some time, and that being map alterations, or rather loading screen alterations that showcase specific maps. To date, we've had a couple of them. Firstly, back in July of 2015, during the DICE Summit, there was a showcase of a brand new map screen, which was actually a remake of the Der Riese loading screen from World at War. Now, the Zombies community is filled with diehards that know almost every meticulous detail you can think of, and well, this caught on immediately. There were some distinct and clear changes to this loading screen, And well, as soon as it was called out, it was speculated upon, and what do you know, we eventually got a remake of Der Riese, that being the giant bonus map within Black Ops 3 Zombies. Now, since then, we've had a couple of other loading screens altered, and those including Moon, Nuketown, and Ascension, and as of most recently, and I say this as of, depending on when this goes up, a couple of days ago, as of recording this, it went live today, but the Call of Duty Zombies comic number 3 showcases a brand new loading screen change at the end of the comic, that being the Nacht der Untoten loading screen within it. Now, this was changed about a little bit to fit the description and the vibe of this comic, in which it really focused a lot around the Mob of the Dead era and aesthetic of it, so it's rather interesting that we got a change that kind of goes in line with a lot of the time frames of Mob of the Dead. It's something that is very interesting and once again points more so towards some mystery that is yet to be answered within the Mob of the Dead storyline, and what a lot of people think is a map coming back in DLC 5 if we end up getting one. So these unanswered questions definitely all can point to one place, perhaps DLC 5. And once again, that is a scapegoat, but it is something that all of these things, you may be able to argue some here and there and deny some mentally, but if you take a look at all of them and cross-reference them with each other, there's just too much that you can't say no to, that just has unanswered questions, and therefore, in my mind, I honestly think that at some point in time, we're getting a DLC 5. But all in all, like I said at the beginning of this video, nothing in any way, shape, or form is confirmed. Rather, we may just have our tinfoil hats on, but to me, I just think there's a lot of compelling evidence that points to nowhere in specific right now, but maybe with time, that pathway will reveal itself to the end result that potentially maybe DLC 5, potentially maybe something else, or potentially just maybe just nothing at all. So I guess that's where we're gonna wrap it up. I'd love to hear your thoughts here on this. I just want to let you guys know about all this kind of stuff because the most recent discussion about DLC 5 really got me thinking, and there's a lot of stuff that I've laid out on the line previously, but never really all in one place, and especially with some new stuff being updated since the last discussion we've done on this, I just thought it was appropriate to put everything into here, tell you guys all about it, give you my feedback and opinion on it, but also let you guys derive your own opinions as well. So that said, leave your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think? Because I think there's personally a lot of stuff that once again leads to nowhere in particular right now, and potentially might lead somewhere in the future, but you guys could completely feel different. That's completely okay. Leave your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Are you guys wanting a DLC 5? Or are you guys not necessarily wanting a DLC 5? Whatever it may be, drop your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. If you guys enjoyed the video though, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, Modern Warfare Mastered, and COD 2017. I'll keep you guys posted with anything that comes out here. But if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that is the best place to get connected with me here outside of YouTube. I practically live on Twitter. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below if you guys want to toss a follow. Now finally, if you guys want to check out either of the two videos on screen right now, this will bring you to 2 more Call of Duty viewing experiences that hopefully you guys do enjoy. But thank you dudes so much for watching. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. I'll see you guys later. My name is Nikolai Espresso. Take care and peace.